more.
Hey guys, Isabella here, and we are back for some more r/Nosleeps. For one, I'm in my brother's room right now because he's over here. He wants to listen to these creepy ass stories I'm gonna read. Also because I have to make videos for this channel, and I have a bunch of creepypastas and r/Nosleeps, so I'm gonna do basically just a ton of those because why not just get them out of the way, you know? Also, you can't really see my face all that well because of the scary immersion lighting, which is basically just red. My computer's right here, so I'm sorry if I look over to the screen. If I have it up here, you won't see my face. So, yeah, let's just get right into it. So, today we're going to be reading I'm Convinced My Son Killed His Dad. My cats are being puss. Okay. I was 14 when I had my first child. My dad was an alcoholic and an abuser. My mom was a recovering coke addict living somewhere else, playing house with her new husband and my half-brothers. I barely even remember her face. I remember my dad, or more accurately, I remember the shadow of my dad. He had a huge, bulging dark shadow stumbling through the tight corridors of a house, drunk and deliberated, crawling into my childhood and ignoring tears and screams. Stumbling back out, picking up the beer he had placed on my nightstand, burping loudly. He'd been passed out either on the floor or the couch, occasionally in his bed when I woke up. I'd make him breakfast in the kitchen that smelled foul and cat shit and spilled booze, and he would maybe be sober when I went to school, but when I returned, most nights he didn't touch me, but sometimes he did. The routine of taking care of him was exhausting. My mind felt empty most of the time. Mechanical, almost. I felt like a car on the verge of breaking down, just focusing on staying on the road, whatever the cost. I didn't notice the first couple of times I missed my period. I was a kid, barely cracked 14, and I didn't know how to track it. My mom haven't exactly taught me either. I noticed I was gaining weight. I didn't notice anything else. I didn't care about anything. I was smoking at the time as well. I've always regretted that. I can't stand smoking now. The dark smell and heavy feeling, it all makes me sick to my stomach. I gave birth to a boy one night. My dad was out in excruciating pain on the floor of our kitchen with my cat by my side. I assisted her in delivering litters before, so I like to think she'd help me as well. Sorry about that. I suppose my boy was premature because he was very small in comparison to the children I've had since. But I don't know for sure. He looked like my dad. I looked at his little bloodied face, the way he was crying, the way his scrunched up features looked monstrous, and the way his eyes... Perry, please. You're gonna knock over my phone. Perry? Please. Oi, don't even think about it. It's just your sister. And I decided... The way his eyes looked like my dad's, and I decided I cared as much about this boy as I did his dad. He was as much as a mistake in my eyes as I was. I thought all the times I'd pray to God that he'd kill me before I had a chance to wake up. I made it quick, strangled him with a shoelace, hid him in my closet for a few days until the smell became too strong. Then I threw him in the lake on my way to school. Wait, you talking about your dad or the baby?
Probably the baby.
Oh, yikes. I hid him in my backpack. Oh yeah. Yikes. I'm gonna get so fucking
Read it.
I hid him in my backpack, and the rot had held onto the fabric for weeks. I wasn't really worried about anyone finding him. Nobody looks for someone who isn't missing. I suppose I should have been guilty, and I am now, but back then I truly felt nothing. I was droning through life. I was going to therapy when I was in high school. I inherited money from my piece of shit grandmother and spent it on this instead of college. It was without a doubt the best decision I ever made. I'm a social worker now. I take care of people. I have a husband and 2 beautiful girls. We're happy. We're quiet. I'm not supremely well educated. I'm not the best at apologizing for my mistakes, but I live. I sleep with the night on, but I don't flinch at my husband's shadow. He knows it just about my childhood, the alcohol, the yelling, the stench of shit on me every day. He doesn't know about my boy. It never felt like a burden I was meant to share. I carried him until I didn't, and then I killed him. It was a story that started and ended with me. Sorry, you cannot see me very well. But a few days after my boy died, I started hearing him. First it would be cries as I was falling asleep, that shrill, demented cry he managed to screech when he was born. But it twisted in accordance when his mangled vocal cords from the shoelace tied around his tiny neck like a bow tie. After a few weeks, I started seeing him. Once again, it was only when I was falling asleep. For the last few minutes before dark takes over, he would be lying on the floor, helpless and blue, gasping after air and crying his little lungs empty. It continued like that. It still does. When I wake up in sleep paralysis, he's still there, lying on my floor, blue and increasingly rotten, begging for death I handed him. But when I wake up for real, there's nothing, of course. He's grown up in front of me. The child who used to be a baby is a man now. He'd be 32 this year. The boy I see does indeed look 32. His face is sunken and blue. He's still lying on the floor, shitting and screaming, and his naked body is frightfully skinny. Sometimes in my paralysis, he'll try to reach out and touch me, but he can't stand. I can't move. I wish I could. I wish I could collect him up in my arms and rock him to sleep, the man who is my boy, and I wish I could apologize and explain. But I am where I am. He is where he is. Except for a night a few weeks ago, he got up. He stood, not straight, and definitely not surely, but he stood. He stretched out his bony hand out to me, and I was so afraid he'd strike me or choke me or hurt me, might even kill me. I wouldn't blame him. He didn't, obviously. He stroked my cheek fairly roughly, but not miraculously, and he smiled. His teeth were black, and his smile was unpleasant, but the surge I felt in my stomach was almost happiness. Could you believe it? My boy smiling? I got a call this morning that my dad had been found dead, choked on his own vomit in the same disgusting apartment I grew up in. They're gonna need a hazmat team to clean it all up. I found nothing at the news, except maybe relief, but that would have been too extreme of a descriptor. My husband and I danced in the kitchen in celebration. My boy didn't show up that night. He hasn't since. I have all faith that he killed our father, and that he made him choke himself on all the sick he brought into the world, on his own disgusting stomach acid burning its way through the shell of a body. My boy doesn't show up anymore, and in a way it makes me sad, and stupid as it sounds, to miss a scepter of your own guilt. And in a way, the fact that I mourn him now makes me almost deliriously happy. Oh my god.
That's a big yikes.
I have no idea what to say. Honestly, I do not have any words except for, how the fuck do people come up with this?
That'd make a good movie.
All of these would make good movies,
Yeah.
to be honest.
That one sounds scary.
It'd be fucked up. That's just... I've always am so, what's the word? I'm trying to look for a word. So surprised. That's not exactly what I'm looking for, but so surprised and shocked on how people come up with this. Because...
You're flabbergasted?
Yes, sure. Because these are just horror stories that I am praying to God aren't real.
Some might be.
But...
How big they are?
Like the Russian sleep experiment, that was a real thing.
Yeah.
But... It just... There's also another word I'm missing. I just find it interesting because I'm trying to do horror, essentially, or mystery type thing, but it's hard because, like, in the one that I'm doing where the girl wakes up and she's the only one left on the planet, I started that one a while ago, but I haven't continued to work on it, and then I'm still working on the Orion High School's Club Corpse Party mix, which is so hard to do because I have to go back and watch somebody play Corpse Party again, so. Anyways, that's fucked up. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for posting that. But hey, if Mini Lad can do it, then so can I. Although, Mini Lad and me are very different. Anyways, But yeah, that is basically it. If you're new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, gives you a thumbs up. Also the bell so you're notified videos with us daily. If you wanna comment down which creepypasta or /Nosleep you want me to read next, please do so. I love you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye.